In this one, we're going to be covering about how we run our own Google Ads campaigns. And do you want to just kick it off with a couple questions, sort of, so people have context of like our expertise here?
Absolutely. So first off, hi everybody. I'm Curt. I'm the VP of Business Development here at Everflow. Hi Cindy. Hi Jenny. Who are you?
I'm the VP of Marketing. You may know, like, neither of us actually manage the Google Ads campaigns because the person who did that unfortunately couldn't make it today. So hopefully.
Hi Julian.
Yeah.
I know you're
hi
watching.
Julian. Good luck with the medical operation.
All right.
But instead, we're stuck with two amateurs who have no idea what they're doing.
Very amateur. So how are you involved in media buying, Michael?
Yeah.
Clearly not at all, but anyways.
So basically, the sort of like background story of this is that we've been running Google Ads for a very long time, and our former demand gen person, when they like wrapped up with us, I was stuck with the Google Ads campaign and not wanting to spend all my time doing reporting. And so we started implementing a bunch of stuff within Everflow and passing data into Google Ads. And what's really interesting is, like, as we've been following this scene, we've realized that a lot of the stuff we're doing in Google Ads now is like the cutting edge of like all Google Ads campaigns. And like we talk with our like Google rep all the time, like we know that like what we're doing, like it's actually pretty cool. And so we're gonna be going into that today.
Yeah, it is some really cool stuff. I've been talking to a lot of prospects and customers just at conferences, talking about how we're utilizing Everflow with our Google Ads, and we're getting some really cool insight that they don't have with other tools that we're really excited to share today. So what have been some of the challenges that you've had, you, the team, with the media buying?
Yeah, I think, so we'll be going into sort of like best practices, but I think the most challenging thing that like we're in the steps of solving right now is that like so much of Google Ads is about quality score, and so much of quality score is about things like loading speed on the landing page. So we've tested out a bunch of different tools, and a lot of them are just slightly slow or they're not good for mobile, and like that hurts your score so much. So we're switching over to testing swipe pages right now. We just did an awesome split test there, and like the speeds are amazing on there, and that's gonna make a huge difference towards our ability to like rank up in Google.
So you had mentioned that some of these tools weren't really good for mobile. Why is that important?
Like we'll go into the ranking system later on, but like Google highly prioritizes how fast you load on mobile, and if you're not loading fast in mobile, you're never going to get a good quality score inside of Google Ads, which makes everything more expensive and you show up less.
Yeah, and we're going to get into more details on that, but super, super important. And then what is one goal that you have for the year?
One goal I have for the year is just to get a full-built Google Ads integration, because I think that's going to make what we're going to show you so much easier for clients to implement.
Well, the nice thing is Jonathan has already said that this is it's going to be done by the end of the week, right, Jonathan?
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. So first off, like let's go into like why Everflow and Google Ads in the first place, and it boils down to a couple different things. So first off, you need the ability to understand the quality of the conversions you're getting. Inside of Google, they just know there's been a conversion that happens. Let's show more, let's put more money onto those ads. But without knowing the quality, you're really kind of flying blind. Second, you can actually use your events within Everflow and actually have those inside of Google Ads and optimize in Google Ads based on like what's actually driving your highest quality events. And then finally, we have real-time reporting. Google's reporting is slow and janky. So having a second dashboard that you can look at where all the data is in real time really makes you, allows you to make better decisions.
And I think just to comment on that, from our own media buying, we've obviously bid on all the industry terms, and before we started doing things with Everflow, we noticed that we were getting the most conversions on the term affiliate marketing, right? If we weren't using Everflow, Google would have said, okay, spend all of your money on the term affiliate marketing because that's what's getting the most conversions. Because we were connected to Everflow and we were tracking the downstream events, we were able to see the actual value of those keywords for us, and affiliate marketing actually sucked. We weren't making any money off of them because those were like the looky-loos. These are people that were learning about affiliate marketing. These weren't conversions that were actually generating real revenue. So because we were connected with Everflow and tracking those events and being able to push that back into Google, we were able to really optimize this campaign. Yeah.
Yeah. And one thing to understand with Google Ads is that it's both massive and super competitive. So global SEM is to break $203 billion in ad spend in 2022. Google Ads quality scores increasingly revolves around mobile relevancy and speed, and optimizing Google SEM daily is more important than ever, according to Julian, whose job was to manage Google Ads every day. So
I'm sure he's like adding comments in our Slack channel right now. Just out of curiosity for those in the audience, how many people are buying on Google right now? Hands? 2.
Just a handful.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We got some more over there. Cool. Are you guys using Everflow to track your Google spend or your Google conversions at all?
Well, hopefully after this presentation you'll be inspired, yeah.
Excellent.
So as Curt was saying, not all leads are equal. And in our case, like with affiliate marketing, we were seeing that it's just they don't have the right intent. And Google will never know like the quality of your leads. And so they are never going to be able to optimize towards what actually drives leads that will become customers versus leads that are just kicking tires and trying to learn how affiliate marketing works while they get rich from home.
Well, I think it makes sense, right? From like Google's standpoint, the first party data that they have is they're just looking at conversions, right?
Yep.
So they're obviously going to try and optimize that as much as possible. But having Everflow to really be able to understand this really helps us optimize that.
Cool. So it might be hard to see on this, but how we optimize for quality, like the first thing I want to mention here is that like we have search terms here, and then we're also seeing the search keyword and the search term. And if you can see this, like the first one here, like affiliate management platform or software, that's a high quality conversion. The person who signed up for that, the way we have it structured internally, is that if they're using a company email, that's a high quality lead and that's worth 1,000. And if they're using a generic email like Gmail, Hotmail, etc., that's a low quality lead and is given a lower value of 99 in this case. So in the first one, it's one conversion, 1,000, that means it was a high quality conversion. And the second one, even though the keyword itself is almost the exact same, it was showing up on Drive Affiliate, which that's not the same intent or relevant in any way. And Google's idea of like what is like search term is so far apart from the actual keywords. This is why it's super important to be passing this data into Google Ads and optimizing, removing keywords like Drive Affiliate, because that's not the right kind of intent. That's not a brand that's looking to manage their partnerships. That's some generic thing for like an affiliate who doesn't have their full sense of grammar. And so because we have these different values, it's really easy to catch these wrong conversions and turn off those keywords through setting up negatives. So how to implement our setup. So there's 5 parts right now. Using direct linking, turning on Google Ads AutoTagging, Google Ads import conversion actions is where you're pushing it into with values, and then finally it's being passed from Everflow into Google Ads through the partner Postback. So first off, direct linking is one of the coolest features. Do you want to talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, for sure. So direct linking is really nice, obviously, for a lot of these media buying platforms, especially Google here, because the traditional way of working with a tracking platform is you load in your tracking URL, the tracking platform will spit out another URL, so you have a redirect that occurs there, right? So you have longer load times, you have potential click loss, all that fun stuff. Not so fun when every second counts, right? With us, we've been able to create what we call direct linking and utilizing the Everflow SDK, JavaScript SDK. And so instead of putting the link in and having an additional hop, so to speak, in the tracking, you're just linking directly to the landing page. There's no additional URL that's in there. So you're 100% compliant with Google, Facebook, all the big guys, and the load times are faster, obviously, because there's not an additional redirect, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, and because it works just as well for your partners as your media buying, it means that Everflow can be your source of truth for all your performance marketing. So it really unlocks the ability to understand all of your traffic much better too, because if you have affiliates in one platform, you have Google Ads in another, and Facebook in a third platform, it's hard to see sort of like, is this affiliate conversion adding value or not? Whereas if they're all running through Everflow, you not only get to see everything in one place, but you also have more control over things like attribution, where you can make sure that you're protecting your own campaigns and your best partners, while things that should be at the end of the funnel are just being treated with last click attribution or last touch attribution.
Yep, absolutely.
So auto-tagging is a feature within Google Ads, and basically what it does is it allows you to append additional parameters on every single click you're getting from Google Ads, and you can use this auto-tagging feature to append all of the important Google Ads parameters that you need to receive inside of Everflow. So the Google Click ID, which is like the unique click on every, like the unique click ID for every single click that goes through Google Ads, that can be passed under, say, sub 1, sub 2, whichever you want to use for a placeholder. And then the other one that I highly recommend is that you can also pass keyword. Keyword's a funny story. So I spent so much time trying to figure out how to get keywords into Everflow, and every single system that I could find didn't seem to be able to do it. Google has like zero documentation on any of this stuff, and it wasn't until we connected our HubSpot and HubSpot auto-added these parameters that I realized that Google could have been passing keyword the entire time. It's a standard parameter. They just don't mention it anywhere in any of their documentation. So it took a year to start receiving keywords. So import conversion actions. So this is the other piece of it that's important, is that you can set up custom conversions inside of Google Ads, and you can set up any number of these, and you can tie these to all of the, not only the base conversion in Everflow, but also all of the events that you have. So in our own case, like we have our CRM connected, so all those CRM stages, they can all be fired into Google Ads with different values.
This is kind of like where the magic happens, yeah?
Exactly. Because the values are so helpful for your day-to-day optimization. Like I was saying, because not every lead or conversion is equal, you're going to see a ton of conversions inside of Google Ads. But once you start layering values on top of that, and you start seeing a place where you have a lot of conversions and the value is super low, you know, okay, I need to identify these keywords and these search terms and start doing negative search terms around everything that is driving the wrong type of user that doesn't have an intent where they will actually ever become a customer. And then currently, the way we actually do this is using Zapier. So basically, we are firing from Everflow into Zapier, and then Zapier is passing it into Google Ads. So the Zapier acts as sort of just like the in-between to get it into Google Ads. And I mean, as we mentioned and Jonathan said, we're working actively to pass the conversion straight from Everflow into Google Ads, so you don't need the Zapier in the middle.
By end of week.
By end of week, yeah.
Right, Hugo?
And currently, the way we do passing it into Zapier is we're actually using a Everflow partner, Postback, and we have the Zapier webhook. We put it into the Postback, and then we're firing all of that data, every conversion from Everflow. The webhook fires into Zapier. Zapier collects that data and then passes it into Google Ads with different values based on those conversion actions. So ways that you can start using your data here with Google Ads. So first off, the way we do it as well is like you connect your CRM for both like Salesforce and HubSpot. All of those different stages of your customers within your CRM, those can all be mapped to different events within Everflow and then passed into Google Ads for optimization. Make sure that you're tracking all the events inside of your own website that reflect your best type of customers, because again, we can get leads every day, all day, and if they're not someone who is interested in Everflow, we've wasted our time, we wasted our budget, and we've wasted our sales efforts when they have to yell at me for sending low-quality leads.
Exactly. Don't like to yell at you, Michael.
Make sure that you're passing values, because values make it really easy to identify these low-quality sources. You need to be always optimizing. Using what we recommend is like the conversion value report. And anyone who has any questions on this, like we're happy to send this deck so you can see exactly how we set up our internal Google Ads campaign to see the value plus the search term. But optimizing around that is super important because you want to prune away all of these weird search terms that are completely irrelevant to the keyword you originally put in. And then finally, you get a lot more insights by being able to look inside of Everflow and capture stuff really quickly and see stuff really fast. Like one of the most obvious examples of this is that Google Ads, when you're trying to target, say, like some countries, they have this idea of like who's looking up stuff for United States, and they will show ads to them that you are paying money for, even though they may be in like India or Bulgaria. And if that's not your target market, you don't want to reach them. You actually have to go into a very specific setting within Google Ads to tell them, no, I want to only reach people in the countries that I just said I want to reach. And every time we set up new campaigns, like this is always a struggle, and it was really helpful to just look into like our analytics, quickly see where the traffic is coming from in the country level, and then anytime we saw a lot of traffic coming from the countries we didn't want to reach, it was obvious that we had to go back into Google Ads and do optimization there.
Sorry, before I move on, we talked a little bit about the stages that we track within our CRM. Just out of curiosity for like the rest of the audience here, what type of events do you think would be important for them to track, let's say for like a lead gen company, for an e-commerce type company?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I would say that, like, especially with lead gen, what we do for CRM is completely applicable to what you do on the lead gen side. So starting a lead, like, that's some value. If completing a lead's a lot more value than that, and if that lead is actually being processed and approved, like, that's really high value. And you want to make sure that your budgets are going towards the keywords that are not just driving leads, but are driving leads that get approved, that go through your system, that are going to be driving you revenue. So that's like a perfect use case for like making sure all these different events are passing into.
So for like a mortgage company or something like that, I mean, you have the initial lead that comes in, and then once they actually get to a call center or something like that, we fire an additional event, be able to track all of that so you can see what is the real value of all of those different search terms.
Exactly. Cool. So here's 9 pro tips for Google Ads from Julian. So first off, always use site links. So these are like a little site link extension that goes at the bottom of the ad. So like you have your main ad at the top, and then there's a bunch of links underneath it. What's cool about those is if someone clicks on any of those little extension links, you don't pay for it. So we regularly receive like hundreds of clicks per month and a bunch of extra conversions on top that cost $0. So make sure that you have these set up.
And I think an added benefit of that is that you're just gaining more real estate on the first page of Google there, right?
And pushing the organic results down. So if you're bidding on a competitive keyword, they're less likely to see the other options.
Yeah.
Next, boost CTRs with image extensions. So if you can see on the image, basically it's just like a little icon that will go next to your ad. And Julian was saying this contributes 2% to our ad click-through rate, so it makes a massive difference. So make sure you have image extensions for all your Google Ads campaigns.
I mean, 2%, that's a pretty significant impact.
As we mentioned before, build your landing page for speed. Like, this is just so important to actually ranking up in Google Ads these days. Like, if your website isn't loading fast on mobile, you're going to be paying like 50% higher. You're never going to get as much of like the overall share of impressions, etc. By the way, just a side note, I finally learned what impression share means like a week ago.
Okay.
So impression share is a metric inside of Google, and what it actually means is that when someone searches for a keyword, you only show up, if you have an impression share of 30%, you're going to show up to 30% of the users searching that keyword. So you'll see this all the time in Google Ads. They never bother to explain anything, and that's why. It's like, yes, you are on that keyword, but you're not actually showing for a vast majority of the people searching for that term.
Something tells me you don't really like their documentation.
Yeah, their documentation could work. We were like fixing something in the API, and they have like, here's how you do it with like a use case, and the use case for like how to connect to their system was not available. Like literally that was their answer of like, here's how you implement it, not available.
Awesome.
Cool. So as we mentioned, focus on negative keywords. You're going to be showing up on so much stuff that you're not planning to show up on. So your ability to pass values and identify these search terms that are totally irrelevant, it's going to help you a ton. So always be logging in and always be putting in more negative keywords. Next up, expanded text ads were like a standard at Google, and they're being retired. So you need to start using responsive ads. Match your messaging is super important for quality score. This is the other part. So it's speed and this. So if they're looking at CRM for marketing agencies, you need to be mentioning marketing agencies and CRM in your ad copy, and your landing page needs to also reflect that. Cool. Sorry, I'm dying here. Design for mobile first. 52% of our clicks are coming from mobile. And every landing page needs to be designed for mobile first. Actively manage your campaigns. Again, Julian tip, justifying what he does from day to day, but especially this logging in and making sure that you're doing the negatives is so important.
He does log in every day. I'm certain of that.
That's true. Every day, even weekends.
Even weekends.
If he's at a wedding, he's still logging in.
As he should.
And finally, if you're doing more than $10,000 a month in spend, make sure you request a Google Ads specialist.
Yeah.
Julian was doing bi-weekly calls with our specialist. She was awesome. She was always suggesting new things to test. And at least we have a really good one who also tells us when they build a new feature that doesn't quite work and will not be successful. So, because a lot of stuff...
So not what to not do as well.
Exactly. It's super helpful because like they're always building new stuff, and a lot of stuff takes a long time before it goes from half-baked to actually being valuable. So being able to cut through which new features are helping your business versus harming your business, having the specialist makes such a big difference for being able to make that decision. Thanks again to Julian for the pro tips and like providing a lot of like deck content. Any questions from the audience?
You did great, Julian. Yeah, any questions?
MQL is a marketing qualified lead. And the way we do it internally is with HubSpot, and so HubSpot makes that determination.
You know what an SQL is? Sales qualified.
Cool.
Anyway, any other questions?
Yeah, Michael, why do you think that like Google said that like it seems surprising that Google said they weren't able, or not many people tracking by events. I mean, why do you think that is?
Oh yeah, that's a great question. So why did it was Google impressed that we're tracking by events? So there's a few things here. So this is all that event stuff, all that import conversion actions. What I didn't know is that feature was pretty brand new when we implemented it ourselves. That is something that is like on the cutting edge. So if you listen to like Google Ads specialist podcasts and stuff like that, like this is the thing that they're most excited about is like having this extra attribution of all these different events that they were unable to do in the past. So there's one of the reasons, and also like I don't know of any, I haven't seen a tool that basically is passing all these events into Google Ads. Like it's really cool and just fortuitous that it ends up being that the way that we do attribution and break out all these events is actually perfect for this, because most of our competitors especially, like they don't have this concept of multiple events. So there's no way that they could build a system where there's multiple events passing into Google Ads. And so we just ended up being at the right time. This is a new implementation, and a lot of this stuff is all kind of got built out of like the whole SCAD network, like privacy changes. That made a massive adjustment to both Facebook and Google. And so they started having more like server-side events and stuff like that in reaction to this. So it's just good timing, and that's why like right now most of the big buyers on Google Ads haven't set this up yet.
Yeah, and I'll just comment on my side. At the different conferences that I've been to, speaking with a variety of prospects and customers that are doing Google buys, when I bring this up, it's something that consistently nobody is doing, and it's really, it's a light bulb that goes off when I start talking to them about this. So I'm really excited for this to be rolled out for the rest of our customers and really going to market pretty heavily on this, because we've definitely ate our own dog food, so to speak, on this, and it's really, really powerful stuff.
Yeah. And pretty easy to implement, because again, like it's not rocket science. If you're passing low quality leads with like into Google Ads with like low values, you're going to be able to catch in seconds all of these keywords that you've been spending money on that were just driving leads that will never become customers.
Yep.
Cool. Any other questions?
No? All
Sounds
right.
good.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.